Story time! When I was a young lad, my mother used to take myself and my brothers to an old video rental store called Video Systems 2. Never found the original, but that's neither here nor there. I remember there were certain games I used to rent consistently. MC Kids, Snake Rattle and Roll, Flintstones Surprise at Dinosaur Peak, Robo Warrior, all fun games which I now own. Other than Flintstones, because damn that game is not cheap. But another game I remember was Mickey Mousecapade, a classic platformer from Capcom, who seemed to own all the rights to make Disney games. Not that I cared, because they did a damn fine job of it. As a kid, I remember not really caring for the game. Nowadays, it's not quite as bad, but still not one of Capcom's finest ventures. I was able to purchase this game as a boxed copy, which came with the game, obviously, the box, the manual, and the dust sleeve. I remember the days of actually reading the manuals, probably mainly for their not always colorful pictures. But let's take a look at this one. First, the story. Mickey, followed by Minnie, eventually through blah blah 5 stages, all in search of the mystery friend. Help them solve the mystery. Really? That's all they could come up with? Kinda feels half-assed for a frickin' Disney game. Oh well. Move on to how to play. A little illustration with how to get your weapon. That's right, at the start you have no weapons and can only evade your enemies. At least Mickey's start that he throws is found about 2 rooms in. But Minnie's is in the opposite side of the stage. In fact, the manual tells you this on the next page. And now Minnie can throw stars. Good luck. Good luck indeed. Oh, and there's a cheat right on the next page for the level select. That's never a good sign, is it? That's about it for the manual, other than the enemies you encounter. And then I look at the back of the box, which is full of text. In fact, there seems to be slightly more in-depth plot here. Mickey hears a voice crying for help, so he's off to save them. Strange. Can't help but wonder if 2 different people were involved in this. Oh well. I also took note that all 3 screenshots shown in the box are of boss fights. Anyway, let's move on to the game itself, instead of just being confused by the contents of the box. As I said, Mickey Mousecapade is a platformer, and an escort mission at the same time. Minnie travels behind you at all times, and so you can only advance to the next room if Minnie is still in tow. If she gets separated in your journey, you'll need to go find her. And yes, she may get lost. In the final stage, there's a lot of small platforms that she may get hung up on, and if she's not immediately behind you, you might need to redo the jumping to bring her with. But even more annoying is that she can be abducted by a strange purple flying thing, called a crow in the manual. If this happens, you can still proceed through the stage as normal, but you cannot exit until you find your companion. This can only be done by shooting everywhere and hoping that you can uncover a key that will warp you to a room with 4 statues. Only one of them will release Minnie from her prison. If you touch any of the 3 duds, you'll have to leave the room and look for another key. This is incredibly frustrating, as you can see here how long it took me to uncover the correct statue. I remember the trick from years ago that if you see the hidden area, stand close to an exit as the crow won't follow you. In fact, there's a lot of hidden areas that you can uncover using your thrown stars. Most of the times, they'll uncover one of 2 gems, one of which maxes out your life bar, and the other destroys enemies on the screen. Sometimes you'll get what looked like a Hudson B, which will grant invulnerability for a few seconds, and on rare cases, a 1-up. That crow is only found in stages 1 and 5, so in 2 through 4, you don't have to worry about uncovering something foul. Because of the hidden areas and the constant enemies, you'll be mashing the B button constantly. You can get away with not having Minnie grab her star, but there's really no point not to, since it's only 2 rooms away from the main path in the first stage. As far as I know, if you don't collect this in this level, you won't get another chance. And if you use the level select code, she'll be without the star anyway, so use that with caution. Speaking of caution, you'll need to exercise it when jumping over the pits in levels 2 and 3. If you clear them as Mickey but Minnie falls in, it's an immediate death. Minnie is otherwise impervious to damage, so you can use her to defeat enemies if you can position her in a more advantageous state, like the boss battle here. And this is good, because although stage 4 is only 4 rooms long, it's probably the most difficult in the game since most of the enemies do substantial damage and take way too many strikes. You'll probably reach Peg Leg Pete with only a few bars of life remaining. And this was supposed to be a game for kids? Damn. That's not even mentioning the instant death that you can possibly get in Stage 5. I didn't get the key right away to enter the boss room, so I had to backtrack to find it. And of course the mini-boss respawned, which means I died instantly as I entered the room. What the hell? That's dirty. At least it respawned me in the bottom left of the room, making it easier to backtrack, but not sure I would have sacrificed a life for it. Speaking of lives, you do get 5 to start out with rare 1-ups able to be found. I think I found a total of 3 of them, one of which being fairly easy to spot, the other 2 needing to be uncovered by, again, shooting at emptiness. So far, you might think that the game feels like your standard action platformer Escort, but there's a few quirks that need to be mentioned. Actually, only really one: the jumping. It's strangely stiff. If you jump straight up, you can move around, but once you choose a direction, you can't change it. And if you jump forward, you can't move backwards, but you can stop and drop straight down. It's hard to explain. It can easily be seen by playing the very first level. In addition, you can't jump through or off of ladders. Very odd. In fact, you can climb up to the top of a ladder, but even if you're not visibly climbing it and you're literally standing on top of it, you can't jump off. This can be seen in the first boss battle. Again, very odd. That's really it for the gameplay. Stages 1 and 5, you hunt for the key, open locked door, kill a boss along the way. Stage 2 is a simple romp through the ocean, and I remember as a kid barely getting past the stage because Minnie is always drowning. As an adult 25 years later, it's not as bad as I can recall it being. Stage 3 is a maze-like forest, where you must find the right door to enter the next season. What's tricky is that once again, some of the doors are hidden, forcing you to shoot freaking everywhere. Stage 4 is a hellish 4-room pirate ship, so the game is fairly short, requiring less than a half hour to completely finish it. What's sad is that the music is just as short, making it annoyingly repetitive. I mean, it's not bad for what it is, but after hearing the same loop 10 times, I'm done with it. Here, I'll play a sample or 2 here for you. And that is the entire loop. That's it from Mickey Mousecapade. It's not as bad as I remember it, but it's still fairly lackluster. Even the ending, spoiler alert, is bland. Mickey enters a clearing, finds Alice, a pic is taken, the word end is shown, and back to title. Fiend. Thankfully, this game is fairly cheap, especially if you just wanted the cartridge. Would I recommend it? Maybe for collection's sake, but don't expect something with a lot of depth if you do want to play it. Final score? 6 out of 10. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.